Hello, class. So, we'll be talking about minimum security requirements today. This is what we'll be discussing about today. I'm recording. Yeah. So, this is what we'll be discussing today. Under the minimum security requirements, these are the learning objective, which is different types of information to security categories. And we'll also be explaining the minimum standard to be implemented by organization to guarantee information security. And the last but not the least, which we are going to describe selection of security control. Now you can select what security control of your choice to your organization. Uh, those are the things we'll be discussing today. These are learning objectives. So let's start with the introduction. When we are talking of here, is a set of minimum standards needed to be adopted by our organization for all the data that is collected, processed, and stored in the organization. The information security standard implemented depends on different level, which is termed depend on the risk level, threat threshold, and the impact on the data to guarantee confidentiality, integrity slash availability, and business continuity. When we are talking about standard, depending on the assets you are trying to protect, will determine the kind of what security control you are going to use or the standard or now you are going to what the standard and the level. You are going to analyze the risk, the threat threshold, the impact on that data will determine the type of standard you are going to use on the security for the security of your what of the assets of your organization. And then the information can be classified in terms of confidentiality, integrity slash availability, and the business continuity. And they are as follows. When information is being depending on the organization, how the information is being classified will determine the what the the terms I are going to use for them. Now let's explain confidentiality. I know in this class I have explained we have been using confidentiality, talk about CI tries, right? We have also talked about availability. Now, depending on the what on the standard your organization will be picking, will be choosing. So we want to relate it to confidentiality based on how the organization assets is being was classified. Are you with me? So we first talk about what confidentiality is a system when a system owner devise a pragmatic classification in terms of confidentiality. This decision is based on how unauthorized disclosure affects the company and other institutions involved. Here we are talking about when the assets or information of customers, imagine in a bank institution, if your PIN, transaction PIN, your ATM, your username and your password is being what is being leaked, is being accessed by unauthorized users. What do you think will happen to that organization, to that bank? Will you have trust in that bank? You won't you can withdraw your money because your money is not safe with them. So this will determine that, and then the confidentiality level of information are categorized as follows. One, we have public. Two, we have limited. When we are talking of public, this is the information system or information that is prepared for public disclosure. There are some information that are for public or disclosure, like all this marketing content, information about shares, how much we sell our shares, and so forth. But anything that is what pertains to your identity, like your identification of a customer, the password, the account balance, the date, the information, the data collected to create the account must be confidential. You must not allow unauthorized users to have access to this kind of information. Now we have limited. This is the information system or information that is private for a specific group, for a user, for a processor, for someone that will process the information, or user that will use your information, or the bank network infrastructure system and the rest must not be public because once that kind of information is public, it can be a threat. And once it is a threat, their configuration, everything related to the bank, the network infrastructure, user need to have access to their network. Once an hacker has access to their network, which means an attacker can have access to all the entire bank, all the architectural design of their network. There will be a loophole. There's no how there will be a loophole. It can be accessed. Are you with me? So this kind of information must be what is also must be limited. And then this level of security provide data access to a particular individual or group of people. This kind of information is limited to what to a set of people, to a limited group of people that process the information, that use the information to do their day-to-day activities. Are you with me? Okay. And then let's talk about integrity slash availability. We are talking of integrity slash availability. The system owner identify the classification based on the level of integrity and availability of processed information. Based on the probable consequence of loss of integrity or availability. Imagine that you can change your account balance from 100,000 to 10 million alteration of the integrity. You, me, I can change my account balance by myself. What do you think will happen? Everybody don't become billionaire. Are you with me? That's another thing. So we must make sure that not everybody it must be limited to a set of group that can alter this kind of information, change it. And this kind of service must be available 247. Let me use another example like a Jumia. Jumia now, imagine Jumia is not available during 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. You will lose customer because these people order during the night. You can be going through just see a product you like and you order for it. This availability, the services must be available. Now maybe your bank, maybe you want to perform some transaction in the middle of the night, and bank now tell you that they are closed. And you also have another bank that their bank works 247. Which one will you patronize? The one that are what always available. Because anytime you may want to buy something, you want to pay for something, you want to send money to family and friends, and so forth. Based on the probably consequence of loss of integrity or availability, the level of security classification are mentioned as follows, depending on how this how classified this information is or asset is will determine the security that are going to put on them. Sometimes I mentioned in this class, if you remember, maybe I mentioned in this class, there are some people that the category of how your money is, like how your bank account will determine the kind of security measure they will put on your account. Exactly this is what you are watching. You have moderate, you have critical, you have strategic. You cannot have 500K in your account and be expecting they should be give you security that is around 1 million. It's not possible because it's a business. You have to make profit. Hmm? That's another thing. All those ones that have 1 billion, 10 billion, they are servers. You can never hear that 1 billion just missing in one person's account. But sometimes you see that 200,000 missing in one person's account. Many times, some people 1.2 million, 1.3 million, they disappear. Have you ever had in a client, in a customer account, 1 billion just disappear like that? Hmm? The whole bank can be attacked and they move money from the main bank, but someone account go, they wipe 1 billion. The bank go shake that day. So let's talk about the what the level of what security based on the classify based on how classified the asset is or the information or the data is. Now we have moderate. Are you getting along? Are you sure? Any question? Hmm? No question. So let's talk about moderate. Moderate, this applies to information system. Yeah, I'm recording. I'm using I say you should buy me this not buy it for me. So I'm using maybe it's allowed or it's not allowed today. I don't know. Just trying. Are you enjoying those one because this thing? So let's talk about moderate. This applies to information system or information where the loss of integrity and availability threaten the internal function. And we also have critical. This applies to information system or information where loss of integrity and availability threaten the situation of organization with regard to other institutions. That is with competitors. This another was this another method. And also have strategy. This implies to information system or information where loss of integrity and availability is intolerable to the organization or other institution. If anything happen in this stage, the whole bank can crash. It's not tolerable. You will not tolerate it that any breach should happen in this stage. Those are those people I say yeah, category. Now, if anything happens at this stage, which is critical, it will affect the organization and related to other institution. Maybe between the oh, come to us to damage their reputation, damage any other thing. Now, when we are talking of money, even though if there is threat, they apply to information system or information where the loss of integrity and value threaten the internal function. So we threaten the whole internal things, but not related to public. Like you related to customer we have here, but internal since they will not hear about it. If we, there are many issues that happen within the bank that we are not aware. If that thing leaks, it's another problem for them. But within the organization, within the bank, it's what a threat is a threat. It threatens what the organization. Are you with me? So let's move on now. Business continuity. When we are talking about business continuity, who else have idea on business continuity? Okay. When we are business continuity come in place, the incident response. When there's an incident, business continuity means that even though under attack, under issue, like under when there's an incident that happen or under attack that an organization is passing through, they must make sure the business operation is still in progress. Are you with me? The business operation, the business services, maybe a bank is under attack. We have the medium for you to transfer. You have many. You have your ATM, you have your mobile app, you have USSD, right? You also have online banking. If the mobile app is under attack, at least ATM will still be functioning, right? That's what we are talking. That's the business continues to come in play. How to diversify different methods of our services, how to use our services. You can still use the ATM to go and withdraw. If the ATM one is not working, your mobile app is working. And use your mobile app to transfer, right? Your USSD also is there. I use me just this day that we are no longer using USSD again. Me, I don't know when I used my USSD last. Either I use ATM, who use when have you used USSD transaction this year? But it's the last backup that we still have. If the ATM and the mobile app are under attack, everybody will fall back to USSD. That's traditional way. That's traditional before mobile banking have come. We use USSD, ATM after ATM mobile. If those two ATM and mobile is under attack, everybody will fall back to USSD. You start typing code. Star *955. That's what it. *733. All those things. Uh, so business continuity. Information is classified depending on the business continuity requirement of the information. A comprehensive business continuity management framework needs to be developed, which is supported by disaster recovery or planning. In this process, depending on how classified all these assets are, we determine how we are going to plan and disaster was recovery. When we are talking of disaster recovery, which when disaster it can be man-made or natural made. When we are talking of natural made, hurricane, flood, and all this tsunami and the rest. That's man-made, not human-made. But human-made when there is error, human error, maybe an attack and so forth, that's human-made. So what are the disaster recovery based on how was how classified the assets of the organization, information and data and so forth. We depend on that. Here the target information system must be integrated into the framework and the information content on that system must be safely stored in distinct location other than the production of site. If you notice some organization They have they put their server, they carry it to data center where it is being protected. They outsource it out. You only be paying for rentage and the lights and the electricity that you consumed. That's what they did at the data center. So in case if there will be any attack on the building, at least your server and the rest will be saved. The project owner is also responsible for applying security requirements of the project and assigning technical, human, financial resource as needed to satisfy security requirements of the project. And he or she is also responsible to guarantee the security control are qualified and endorsed during acceptance testing phases. The security control needs to be maintained in the entire life cycle of the production. Vendors must also address the needed security requirements. Now, mapping of different type of information to security category and impact levels. Now, when we are talking of mapping category, how classified the information is, and then we categorize them. After that, we now map them to impact the damages they will cause if there's any breach on such what assets. Are you with me? If there's any either confidentiality breach or integrity breach or availability breach and so on and so forth. So now, mapping information types to security control and impact level can be done with few guidelines mentioned as follow. Number one, recognize information system. Recognize this asset you want to protect. Recognize, you recognize this data. Recognize the database. Recognize the system. Recognize the narrative. Recognize you must first identify this device or asset that you want to protect first. Are you with me? And number two is to recognize information type. What are the kind of information it carry? What are the oh, what are the informations it carries? And number three is choose impact level because impact level also will be what? Is it high, low, medium? That's level. Are you with me? Is the impact level is very high? Is it low? Abi is in medium range? And number four is to analyze and alter impact level. You need to analyze the impact level. You need to alter it to know so you'll be able to divine the kind of damages it will cause. And then allocate system security category. Like the one I explained, is it you have to put it in moderate, critical, or who can remind me the last one I mentioned? And strategic, thank you. Yeah, in class. So allocate the security of category. Are you with me? So that's for that. Can we move on? Any question? After the categorization, the impact level results are used to assess system risk and to select security control for each system. So mapping of different type of information to security category and the what and the impact. Number one is identifying the type of information in another critical step is another critical step that should be done with steps as mentioned. Identify the information, identifying this kind of critical information the system carries. Number one, we'll be discussing them, how to recognize them, how to identify them. One is to recognize the basic business scope for management and support or functional scope supported by the particular system. What is the business service? Like in bank, we know that they're into finance, right? Oil and gas, they are into oil businesses and they have clients they work with, their staff and the rest, right? Right? And then like medical hospital, they work with what? Their patients record. Are you getting it? Also and so forth. We have different businesses like that. All these fine tech, all these decoration company and so forth. Like this every day, you deal with your bank. bank ATM pin record, because there's no how you are going to make transaction. Your ATM data is going to what is going to pass through their network. Now, if someone is not there capturing your ATM, everybody that come there, there's a device that you can use once it's used. Oh, I once do research on this. If you see ATM that has signal like Wi-Fi signal, yes, that have you do like this. It has like that. So be careful because you have near feed. It's a near feed record. Is near near feed. You most of this are some people that have the devices near feet. I once work do research on that. It's a device. It's a something like a device that you can use to capture. Once it move close to you, it's use wireless signal. Once you move close to you like this, you capture. If your ATM have that kind of features, you capture everything. We want to pay. Yes, just pass, just capture. No, yes. Just do your swipe it. You don't need to swipe yourself. Just move close to capture it. It will capture everything. Just enter your pin. That's all. So there are some devices that you can use to capture. Imagine now in this everyday now, you now use that kind of device, you move it close to the POS machine or to their payment devices and start capturing it, capturing that. And there's CCTV around. Maybe the person, as you are doing it, start writing your PIN. Your money is particular. Are you see? Maybe he will now have his own payment this thing. As you are entering it, as you are pressing your PIN, is him too. Now, as because as you just do like this, zone is also there. As you press your own, pa pa pa, your money is disappear, and you will not know immediately. You will not know immediately. Maybe when you now go, when you now reach, maybe the person did not even run the transaction when you were there. Maybe after you now left, just go away with the money. So that's another thing. Now, let's hope we understand this part very well. You understand this part, which is to identify the business scope. What are the businesses the organization is talking like they are doing? What are the information needed to work to run their businesses? And we also have for each of these scope, identify the operation involved to achieve that purpose. Now, for you to achieve the scope, like for you to achieve to recognize the business business, what are the scope, like the business operation, segment by segment, how they run their businesses, each one department, how did they use the information, the assets they have, they are protecting, the customer information, how are they using it? You have to also recognize that one also. And then list the subtasks to carry each line of business or operation scope. You have to list them, all those tasks they perform. And number four, choose fundamental information type link with the lowest list sub tax also. And number five, recognize any special requirements by executive or other regulatory body regarding handling of specific information as a special information type. You have to also recognize all these standard NISC IS 27001 or NISC 0 ISO 2702. So you have to recognize them for you to be able to achieve your goal, or is it COVID? And so forth. So let's talk about selection of provisional impact level. Selection of provisional impact level. So when I'm talking of selection of provisional impact level, national agency have a set of impact levels based on information types in their organization. In US, Federal Information Processing Standards Publication FIPS 199 is a standard for security categorization of federal information and information system. Management and support information types may have a set of impact level, and mission-based information types may also have another set of impact level also. Depending on the impact, we determine the kind of what selection Like in the US, they have the processing standard publication, Federal Information Processing Standard publication. So all these apps are under them on how to how to categorize the impact level of your asset or organization information. There are cases wherein such information types may not have respective impact level. In such situation, organizations should follow some criteria to determine provisional impact level, which are as follows. One, impact is considered low. If there is less effect with respect to loss of confidentiality, integrity, or availability to the organization, operation, asset, and personnel. We are talking of personnel, your staff. Talking of assets, the information you use, the operation, how you run the services. Are you with me? If it is low, which means even though if there's any confidentiality loss or availability or integrity loss, it will not affect the business operation or the services or the personnel, any other thing, or maybe you are not breaking the law. You'll not be able to break the law. And the impact is considered moderate, which you are talking of damages. Now, do you remember when I'm talking of impact? If an organization data is being breached, what is the impact it will cause? This is what we are discussing here. Do you understand? Eh? What's about you? You understand? Do you have any question? Do you have any question? I really know the question you want to ask. Okay, let's continue then. Thank you. So here, when the impact is considered moderate, which is if there is significant effort with respect to loss of confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the organization operation, assets, or personnel. Here, if your data, bank account, information, page name is what is public, is being breached, someone have it, what do you think will happen? Or maybe when your money can disappear from your account due to data breach, wetin go happen? Go first go lock bank now, go change am for them, change everything, go they will spy my money o. If not, bank no go work today. I bank go work. The 10 million just disappear for your account like that. You first look at the bank, you first know where the first person to injure first. First cash first cash the bank manager, wire am 2 by 2. You go provide the money. Ah, so those are the things. Any kind of impact that will cause confidentiality, integrity, and availability loss, which is the impact is considered what moderate. Is it moderate? Impact is considered moderate if it will cause confidentiality, integrity, but if my account balance is being altered in this area from 1 million to 100 million, I no get issue. Abi you get issue? Na bank you go pay you. I go first go withdraw the money that is in the account and I will disappear. You no even see me. Just go to one village, go to one nice house, dey enjoy my life. I will not even use the internet again. Internet? If I wan use internet do? I no need am. Just dey enjoy my life, dey chill, everything. Wetin I wan do? Nothing. Now when the when the impact is considered high, problem dey for here o. If there is catastrophe, there must be catastrophe when my money leave the account without me transferring the money. Mr. So so, when your money leave your account without your presence, without your knowledge, catastrophe no dey dey, problem go dey. They must find the money and they will find it. They must find the money. Or extreme efforts with respect to loss of confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the organization, operational assets, or personnel. That is a big catastrophe. Because now my money lost at this time, they will find the money. So those are the what categorization of what impact. Are you with me? Okay. So let's talk about categorization of system security. Categorization of system security. Security agency in many countries generally what define security category, which is SC, for each information are as follows. Number one, the security category, which is information system, is equal to confidentiality impact, integrity impact, and availability of impact. What is, if this availability is breached, what is the impact, which we are talking of the damages? We calculate it. If the damages will be 90%, when the availability is being what? Is being under problem, maybe DDoS attack. When there's DDoS attack, distribution denial of service, nobody can access the services, your bank app. Are you with me? Availability. Now, when there is the when you cannot do transaction or your account, what is the impact? Let us say to the bank. Let's say an example to the bank now. Let's talk now. What is the impact on the bank? Number one, the people that cannot perform transaction, they are losing money, and the customer will be complaining, and that can lead to what? To loss of customer. And when bank is losing a customer, what will happen? Their revenue, their profits will decrease. Imagine someone have 50 million naira in account, just move the 50 million from the bank because of what? This kind of things. The impact is very high. It will cost them a lot. Are you with me? Now let's talk of integrity. Imagine that someone help me to alter my bank account now from 100,000 to 100 million. Me, I know they complain. Who will bear the loss? Talk now. Talk now. Who will, nobody will answer me in this class. We ask a question. The bank will bear the loss. Now, imagine that someone now alter my 100 million to 100,000. Who will still bear the loss? Problem go there. So the damages is very high. And let's look at the confidentiality. Even though you see my account, may not to touch the money within there. You may not do am. You can even see the look at it, but no touch am. That's my own go. But in cyber security, the confidentiality is compulsory. We must make sure that it's very secure. So we use the confidentiality, confidentiality is breach, and the impact is that there was calculation. Information system, confidentiality, breach, and the impact, integrity, and the impact is the cost, which is the damages with the cost. Now, if unauthorized person have access to confidential information system like that, it can cause damages like financial damages, like financial loss, fining from the regulatory body, and so on and so forth. Are you with me? So those are the damages it will cause. Then acceptable value for impact could be low, moderate, or also high. Are you with me? Depending on the regulatory body. Are you with me? Now let's talk about minimum security standard for information security. Minimum security standard for what? Information for information security. Now, each organization has to what? Has to categorize information system as low, moderate, or high impact. The impact of each information security must be, maybe they are in critical words. Once anything happens to them, the damages, the impact is will cause them to be low or moderate or high. So for each security objective of confidentiality, integrity, and availability, minimum security needs to be respect to protecting confidentiality, integrity, and availability as survivability of information system. Cover security related area as follow. You understand this content? Hmm? You don't understand? Mr. So leave this thing. When we are done, you go do this thing. I'm recording it. Mm-hmm. Listen to it. So when we are talking of minimum security needs with respect to protecting, like the minimum security, even though if it is minimum, like when we have low, moderate, or high, the minimum security must work to protect this. this and this, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That's the least security. Are you with me? And then the survivability of the information system, like the lowest minimum security that you must work to protect this, and this. Are you with me? That's what this content is talking about here. Do you now understand now? They say minimum security needs with respect to protecting the confidentiality, integrity, availability, and the survivability of the information system. The list of the minimum security measure you have to put in place must protect this information system in terms of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That's the list of the security measure you have to put in place to protecting. Like, let me say, this is an asset. This is an information security system. The minimum security you must what provide for this device, for this information security asset, must be to protect the availability of this book, the integrity of not being altered, and the confidentiality that did not fall in the wrong hand. The wrong person did not see it. Are you with me? This is what this content is talking about here. Are you with me? This is what we call minimum security standard for information system. The minimum security that you must put in place to protecting the information system. I don't want anybody to be confused in my class. If you don't understand, ask me and we explain it. Ask me and we explain it. Are you with me? So, number one, identification, access control, and authentication must be also implemented. When talking of identification, is identifying people that want to have access to this system. People that are giving the access to what to have access, giving the access to have access to break this confidentiality. And there are specific people that are giving access to this sort of information. Number two, to modify it, and the set of people that should be available for. Are you with me? That's identification, access control, and the authentication. Authenticating, proving, authenticating that this person that is claiming that I am who I am should be the person. Are you with me? That is authentication. Verifying that you are who you claim that you are. That's for authentication. This security must be implemented. Identification, access control, and the authentication must be implemented. That's the minimum security standard for information system. No matter how bad it is, even though someone that have a zero naira in his account, this this is the minimum security level that will be provided for that kind of server. So that's why you see that some people they say their account is dormant, right? When your account is dormant, you see that they will just move your account to one account like that, and they can shut the server. Because but for you, their account to come back to life, they have to move it from storage, because it is provided that your bank must save your data for at least minimum of 10 years before they can delete it. Even though you are closing your account today, you still store that data for 10 years before they can delete it permanently. Are you with me? So that's how it's all. And number two, training and awareness. Training people that are to manage the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. They must be aware of threats, the impact that will be leveraged on such things, that's leveraged on that information system. And then we also have accountability and responsibility and audit. Any task you perform, you must be responsible for it. It must be you that do it, not others. You must be able to claim. You know that we talk about non-repudiation, right? We talk about non-repudiation. You will not be able to deny that. No be me do am. No be me transfer money from my account. No be me perform this time. No be me do this one. No be me do that. That is what we call accountability, responsibility, and audit. And number four, asset accreditation. Like you know that we are talking about minimum security. This accountability, responsibility, and audit work must be in place. That in case if anything happens, we know who and who have access to that server or system information system at that time. I told you about chain of custody before, right? Before I told you chain of custody. When we are doing forensic, I talk about chain of custody. When we are talking on chain of custody, we are talking about list data of people that have access to a particular digital asset, like evidence. If you go to a center where there's any like maybe when there's maybe where there's an incident, you go to the site, every evidence we gather. Any the person that procure, like the person that handle it, we list their name. If the person is not submitting it to other person, it must be documented. We call it chain of custody. Everybody that have access to that information. So in case if anything happens to the information, if there's any alteration on that evidence, you'll be able to trace it back exactly here. Everybody, the system must be able to be what to to be able, like everything that do on the system must be what must be accountable by whosoever perform the task, and it must be auditable. And then number four, accreditation, certification, and security assessment on social. And then must also is also another minimum security standard. Must be performing what security assessment and accreditation certification for who supposed to have access to it or who you have access to it. And then management of configuration. Every configuration that is put in place must be what managed. And planning of contingency also. If there's any issue, respond, planning must be there. And the response to incident response have to be in place in case if there's any issue that wants to happen or any issue that happen, so that incident response will be the one to address this issue. They will be the one to be able to like isolate those ones that are affected so that it should not destroy the whole organization. Are you with me? And we also have maintenance also. Maintaining every network infrastructure, all those devices, everything. You know, it's just like when you buy a car, you are just driving it, you are not putting off, you are not putting fuel, you are not putting water in the gladiator. In the gladiator, you know that it is spoiled. So maintenance of this was security has to also to be put in place. Are you with me? Thank God. So let's go to the next one. And media protection also has to be there. And environmental and physical safeguarding as security guard. That bouncer. There's one video I watch. Physical, yes, physical protection has to be there. Like there's one video I watched. One man wants to enter. That's how the bouncer just carry him like this. I see which kind of song be this one lah. Just carry a grown up man, just carry him, just like we are carrying a baby. Just put hand for him, hand be like just carry him like just dey waka like this. Throw you. You know insult now, you know me insult. I also have planning and security staff security also. Those that are working with you, they must also be protected also. And they also have risk assessment, assessing the risk that are associated with the information system. And then number 14, service and system acquisition. And then we also have overall system and communication safeguarding also. And then overall system and information integrity. I know that you all know the meaning of integrity also. And then the area show a balanced information security program that address the basic minimum management, technical and operational aspects of safeguarding any information and information system. Now, let's talk about selection of security control, which is the last but not the least. Selection of what? Security control. Now, security control can be defined as operational, management, and technical protection or measure suggested for information system to protect the CIA tribe. Do you understand this definition? Let me come again. We are talking of security control. Security control is the what? Is defined as operational, management, and technical protection or measure that is being suggested for information system to protect the what? We are talking of method of security. What are the method of security that we have assigned that this is the method of security that is applicable that we are going to give this information system? We have different, is it low, high, or medium? I talk about moderate, critical, and what strategic, right? That's what we are talking about. The kind of standard of security we are giving this information system, the management, the maintenance we are talking about, how we are going, the operation and the, the way we are going to be operating it, the way we are going to be monitoring it, that's being assigned to a particular information system. That's what we are talking here. Are you with me? And now, security control are required to what? You know, when we are talking of security control, is how you control things, how you what? You manage things, controlling it. Exactly, that's what we are talking here. Security control are required to safeguard information systems that support the functioning to safeguard access to achieve the organization mission. The security control is to what? Is to control information system like the security which is being what applied to the information system so that we can achieve the aim of the organization, achieve the goal of the organization. Now, if there's any incident that happens to that information system, which is the operation, the business organization, like the business operation will be stopped, which means you have lost control of the security. If there's any breach on a particular network, you have lost the control. Now, if you are driving, maybe anything happens and you could not control your steering, which means you have lost the control of that vehicle. Exactly here. For you not to be in possession of those devices, you have lost the control of such what information system, lost everything related to the security because it's not in your possession. You cannot control. You don't have say on it. Maybe a ransomware attack that encrypts all the data on your system. It encrypts it. It turns into a what to unreadable format. Is the information in your control? No, it's not in your control. It is out of your control because you are no longer in possession. You cannot modify it. You cannot edit it. You cannot have access to it. You have lost the control, the security control. That's what you are talking about here. Now that's it. I'm trying to divide the security control for you, right? Now we now go to selection. Now the set of security control must comprise of one of the following three baseline. Now, if you are to choose security control, it must comprises any of these three. Are you with me? It must comprise of any of these three. Number one, information system that are of low impact. If the impact, the damages it will cause to that information system, the impact is very low, this is a kind of what selection we are going to pick. The security control, so this is the selection we are going to pick for them, which is use specific security control from the low baseline of security control and make sure minimum requirements that we talk about is being associated with low baseline are what taken care of. Based on the security control we are talking about, if the impact, the damages will be low, we are going to use what? We are going to use what? I don't tire. Don't be like that, they confuse you now. Are you confused? Eh? Hope you understand what I'm saying. Yes, I want to know maybe you should recall because I've said this thing. Okay, let me come again. They say we should use specific security from the low baseline since the impact, if there's any damages, if there's any incident, let me use cybersecurity terms. If there's any incident or attack, so or any exploitation, the impact on organization operation or the integrity on the confidentiality on the accessibility, the impact will be low. So we should use minimum what we should use minimum requirement associated with what with the security control that we talked about before. I don't know the minimum security standard that we should use. So if it is going to cost us what, maybe the impact will be low. So we should use the baseline. You know that we discuss so security or minimum security control, like well, minimum security standard. I mean, the minimum security standard that must be set on every information system. So we should use the minimum. And then we also have information system that have medium impact. When we are talking of medium impact, this can cause damages to the organization. Maybe it's not of high impact, but it will cause damages. You know that there's difference between someone die when a car hit him and someone leg break when the car hit him. Now, when someone die, it's total loss. When someone die, it's not just because it causes damages. It's a lifetime damages, which maybe the person will not be working like this. Are you with me? So exactly these are things are also here. Maybe the person will not talk to handicap, one of the leg break, I mean. Mhm. So now, when the impact is medium, you should also use specific security control from the moderate baseline of security control and make sure minimum requirements associated with moderate baseline are also taken care of. Also, you should use the security control of the minimum to the what to the medium impact also that are in baseline of the medium impact also. And then information system that has high impact, maybe the person don't die after the motor hit him, nothing. Cause serious damages to the organization, reputation loss, financial loss, fines from the government, and so forth. Use specific security control from the high baseline also of security control and make sure minimum requirements associated with the moderate baseline with the what high impact baseline are also taken care of. So that's what that. So we're talking about control selection with risk management framework, which is RMF. Risk what? Risk management framework. This is how cybersecurity like this. You have to understand this particular on your own. So it will not seem like you don't know. It will not be like you don't know what you are doing when you are doing the practical. Since if you have this fundamental knowledge now, you will know the reason why you are doing vulnerability assessment, the reason why you are testing security of an organization. Are you with me? So that's it. Now, control selection with in risk management framework. Number one, the risk management framework mandates companies to determine suitable security controls to be applied to manage their business according to the system risk. Based on the system risk, the what so the security control to be what be applied to organization businesses. Network security service (NSS) in organization have special what capabilities, works in different environments, and they go through the what cyber threats also. So let's talk about the control selection with in risk management framework. Enterprise-wide risk-based approach must be considered when implementing security control in such cases. It is a step-by-step process for selecting security control for such enterprise, and they are as follow. Number one is to choose a basic set of security control. And number two, choose and apply overlay on the security control also. And number three, tailor the set of security control. It should be documented, implemented, and picked. Pick it first, implement it, and then what? Document it. That's the meaning. And number four, as needed, append to the tailored set of security control. Based on the need, it has to be what done. Based on the kind of security control that is needed, it has to be what implemented. Summary of today's class: we should talk about information system. We talk about the security objectives. Talk about the impact value defined in particular information system. We talk about the security control. We talk about the acceptable value of impact. Also talk about the next step after security categorization, the risk management framework, mandates that mandate companies to determine suitable security control, and we also have a basic set of security control that include collecting the control, responding to the security categorization of the system. And we also talk about risk executive, authorizing officials and other decision makers may decide to modify or slash tailor an existing control set. And we also have supplementing to the control set takes case of inadequacy by the tailored control set. At this stage, risk assessment provides feedbacks to include each control based on an established risk threshold. These are the summary of today's class. Any question from any angle? No question?